What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video in the Halloween series. It's your ghostess with the mostess, One Lone Nerd. And today we're doing a look from the movie The Nun. If you haven't seen it, it's in the Conjuring series, I believe, and it is a really fucking creepy fucking movie. It's genuinely really good as well. I'd really recommend it if you haven't seen it. A lot of people have done this look, but I want to have a crack at it. I've got a nun costume. We had some issues with the nun costume, but we fixed them now. We'll get into those later. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to start by doing a nose. The nun has quite a pulled out nose, quite like a slender nose. I could try it with cotton and latex, but I think I might try scar wax, maybe, to start with. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of latex straight away onto my nose. Then we're going to grab some scar wax. Now, scar wax is a great effects tool. It blends nicely, but it's annoying at the same time because it's really hard to get it to stay in one place for a long period of time, and it can be a little bit difficult to work with. So maybe we do scar wax and then we top it off with some cotton and latex. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll make it work. So I'm just going in and moulding the scar wax to my face, just moving down any visible edges. And then we're just going to point our nose outwards, and oh my god, that's pretty sick. I mean, with scar wax you just have to be very gentle and just sort of you just have to take your time a lot, to be honest. And then what I might do is bring the bridge of my nose upwards a little bit. So just going to get that down. And so far it's not going horrendously, which I'm really shocked about because I dread using scar wax. Like, all the videos where I have to use scar wax in the series, I've left as some of the last videos to do, just to avoid them. Okay, so now that we got that on, we're going to go in with some more latex. I'm going to dry my hands first because it's an oil-based product, so it can feel a little bit oily. Then I'm actually just going to go in to the tip of that nose. See, this is where it's all going wrong. And just sort of straighten that out a little bit. And then we're gonna, this looks like a witch's nose, which is kind of what the nun's nose is, so I'm not even mad. And then we're just gonna pull that latex down over our nose and hopefully seal it in as best as we can. I'm starting with some white out contacts. You can use some yellow contacts. I'm not the biggest fan because I'm not quite comfortable with contacts enough where I'd want to put them in post effects makeup. And my yellow out lenses make it a little bit tricky to see. So I'm just going to start with the white out lenses, and if I want to like make my eyes look a bit more yellow in post, I can. But for now I'm just going to start with these lenses. Ignore my forehead. Me and a tattoo stencil had an incident. We're going to go in with our colour corrector that we use on the most of our whites, and what this does is just help remove a lot of warm tones from our skin, which is really great for white out looks, and the nun is quite pale. So instead of a beauty blender, I'm going to go in with my big brush, predominantly because my station's a mess and I can't find a beauty blender. So I'm just going to go in, avoiding my nose if I can, being really gentle around that area. And I'm just going to blend that colour corrector in. Now this look is very overwhelming when you just look at it, but when you break down the steps, it's actually a pretty simple effects look. So if you're like, I want to try this but I'm not sure, give it a go. What's the worst that's going to happen? You try again. That first layer of latex on our nose is also dry, so I'm just going to go in with another just to hopefully really stick it in place and support it as best as we can. So I'm just going over that. I'm just going in with my finger just because, yeah. My bridge piercing's really pissing me off because it's present, but I don't want to block it out, so I'm not going to. And then what we're going to do next, that we probably should have done earlier, but we didn't because we're horrible at what we do, is we're going to get rid of our eyebrows. Disappear them. Now, you can do this. You can shave your eyebrows if you're feeling committed. I'm just going to go in with a full glue stick. Pull them backwards towards the centre of my face. And just a little bit back and forth. And then once they're nice and saturated in that glue, I'm going to pull them upwards. Now, I find this kind of simple because I don't have a lot of eyebrow to cover up. I shave my ends. If you have a lot of eyebrow, it might take a couple of times. That's fine. Just take your time with it. It will work. So we're going to go in with some setting powder. And then once we've got our setting powder, we're going to grab some on a sponge and just push it into our eyebrows. And these are just going to basically bippity-boppity disappear our eyebrows. Other than them being like coloured out, you can block these out if you want. The white out paint normally does a pretty good job of that. I just do like 2-ish layers and I'm fine. At least you figured it out now rather than when we fully base coat it up. I'm just going to push that powder in again. Let our nose finish setting. Alright, so now that our nose is fully set, what we're going to do next is we're going to go in with a sponge and some white watercolour. Now we aren't going to start by doing our whole face. We're going to go over our eyebrows at first and start going over our nose. Now we're going to want to double coat the eyebrows because we're going to go in with quite a thick coat first, and then that second coat is just going to help us blend it out once it's set. You don't want any brow hairs peeking through. Now a lot of people don't realise you can layer watercolours. As long as you let them set in between layers, you can. Just make sure they have time to set, otherwise they will smudge and blend. Okay, and next up, our nose. The nose is a lot more delicate, so I might actually go in and do a brush for that. So then we're just going to brush over our nose, bringing it outwards. Just because it's already quite pale, but it also has a little bit of a yellow tinge from it from the latex. So we're just going to want to double coat that just to help a little bit. Yeah, that white's putting the colour on a lot more pigmented. And then I'm just going to use my fingers just to blend that in a little bit, just because I can sort of grasp how much pressure I'm putting on. Can pat that out, and then I'm actually with this brush going to go over my eyebrows one more time because the pigment on this brush versus the sponge is insane, and that's fine because sponges tend to can have a little bit less pigment. So we're going to let those dry down. We look a little bit insane currently, but I promise it will get better. We're going to go in with that white we have. Oh yeah, costume changed slightly because I don't want to get shit all over the side of the costume we're using. This is the front of the costume. I didn't realise when I brought it it's like a sexy Halloween costume. I was just like, cool, nun costume. And yeah, we're just going to white base ourselves. Once we got that base coat down, we are going to go in again with that white. I'm just going to go in again on our nose because some of that yellow is sadly still peeking through. So once we've got our base mostly done, we're going to go in with some setting powder and just go over pretty much our whole face. So next up I'm going to grab a brush and throw some black on there. And I'm just going to sort of go in with that black and around my whole face, just sort of stipple some little dots on there. And then once we got that done, I'm going to go in and start on our lips because that's the next part I have the energy to do. So to do that, I'm going to go in with a black grease paint. Just sort of messily around my lips. Like, particularly around the edges. Throw some of that down. Then I'm going to go with my finger and just tap that in. And it's going to smudge really nicely, which is kind of how the nun's lips look. Just a little pressing outwards and tapping. And then on the center of my lips, I'm going to go in and just do actual lipstick. And once again, we're going to tap the edges of our actual lips. And then hopefully that'll help us blend nicely, because we got that sort of like less pigmented black from that grease paint. And then we got the more solid black from the lipstick. And then we're going to rinse and repeat around our eyes. So we're going to go with that grease paint quite high and then quite low. And then we're just going to go in with our hands and just sort of tap that in. You can use a sponge for this, but I'm quite happy with my hands because it gives me like a slight bit of more control over what I'm doing. Her eyes are pretty opaque black, but they do have a little bit of blending on them, so we can for sure manifest that. Like, this series isn't really, I don't think I could teach a professional anything. There's someone in their room trying to do a cool look for Halloween. I can help that. Then around our eyes, I'm going to use some lipstick. I could use a black watercolor. This lipstick is just super duper dark. And also watercolors around the eyes are a little bit hard to do. Ah, fuck, that's horrifying. I just looked at myself. I say that every morning, don't worry, it's not just this look. And then we're just going to blend that upwards and then under eye. Bring that in. Maybe pull like a couple of flicks out specifically. And we're already kind of getting nunny, which is sick. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is now. Stuck in the dictionary. Sorry, that was just so fucking stupid. So next up I'm going to go in with like a brown shade and start doing some contours. Now this bitch got some real deep, creepy ass contours. And they're quite big, so we can do that. They go a little bit up. They're just really horrific. And then I'm also going to go in and do my nose a little bit. I'm horrified about how it's going to be to blend that out, or at least attempt to, but we'll figure it out. And then with that shade, actually, I'm going to go around the edges of my eyes a little. And I think she also has like some cracks on her forehead. And then my soul's telling me to do one here, so I'm gonna. That's fucking creepy. Then I'm gonna go in with this big ass elephant toothbrush looking thing. Just because it's such an intense little contour. I'm gonna sort of blend it in lightly. And then I'm gonna go in a bit more with that contour colour. Just gently blend it in. And then for my nose, I'm gonna grab a nice big brush. I'm gonna try find like a whitish eyeshadow that isn't a shimmer, or maybe like a grey but a lighter grey. Okay, so I've got a close enough one. I'm using my Nightmare Before Christmas palette, and I'm going in with the shade Bones, just around my nose a little bit. And I'm just gonna bring that from my eyes downwards a little bit. Might grab a different brush. This one's got a little bit of red on it, and it's showing. Even if it's only mildly, it's still showing, and I don't want that. And then around the edges of my cheek contour as well, I'm going to go in with that shade. This is the Revolution Nightmare Before Christmas palette, by the way. So big old shout out to Revolution. I'm just mixing that with a little bit of Hinterlands to get like a grey, and I'm just going to go in and do my jaw. like a little bit behind my contour along here. Then I'm going to bring your eyes up even more because apparently that shit ain't creepy enough. Then I'm going to go in with a little bit more of that Hinterland black. Just because that black, this grey I was trying to use wasn't quite colourful enough to cut through all of this. And then on my lips, I'm just going to pull out a couple bits with that straight black. And then I'm going to do my neck white for on the rest of the costume, and then I think we are actually possibly done. Let me check my reference image. So I double checked and she actually has a few darker lines coming out from around her eyes, so I'm going to go in with a bit more of that black watercolour. Grab a little close-up moment. And then on some of those cracks around my face, in the centre, I'm just going to go in with the black just to deepen them a little bit. Then a little bit on my contour as well, just on the inside. I'm just going to throw a few flaky lines in there, which are just some nice subtle thin lines. And then with my hand, I'm just going to buff those in a little bit. And then around the whole border of my face, I'm going to go in with some of that Bones and Hinterlands combo. Just around the whole edge of my face, essentially. Bringing it in more in certain areas than in others. Just to sort of create that shadow effect that the nun has. That's so fucking creepy. What the fuck have I done? No, my nose, I punched my nose. What the fuck have I done? Next up I'm gonna paint my neck more of a opaque white colour. Around some of the edges I'm gonna just darken that black on my jawline though. But we aren't gonna like pull it down yet, but we are gonna pull it down as well. And I'm just gonna go in and paint my neck. Okay, so once we got that done, we're gonna wet our brush. We aren't gonna go in with black, but some of those lines we're just gonna pull down from our neck. Actually, nah, fuck it. We're gonna go with some black. So I'm gonna do the back of my neck and up behind my ears. Pull that in from the sides, like that. Oh god, this is so creepy. We're gonna repeat that here. Then we're gonna pull our jaw down even further to create a shadowy abyss. Oh fuck. And then that line on our jaw is looking a teensy bit harsh. So I'm going to go in a bit, once again, with that Hinterlands and Bones combo. Just sort of buff it just a little bit. So now I'm going to throw the full costume on and we'll do the finished look. 3, 2, 1. So other than like the necklace, here is our finished look. Let me throw that on, I guess. It's just a pretty piece, pretty cheap looking piece of costume jewellery, but it's still fucking creepy. I don't know what about this look isn't creepy, honestly. So this is literally just an Amazon costume. I paired it with like a long skirt. I'll show you guys in a bit, but We looking spooky, boys! I feel like this headband's a little bit too clean. I might go in with some darker colours on a brush and just add a little bit of crap to it. Because we want to look spooky. Anything too white, not too spooky, TBH. And this whole look overall just has a bit of a decrepit ass fucking vibe. So we'll do that. We'll buff it in a bit and I'm sure it will look sick when we're taking photos. Yeah, let's go take some photos. Alright, so let's quickly get out this makeup and chat. So we were out filming after this look. We were outside a public church near my house, and basically some drunk guy was threatening us and being super hostile and a cunt. I know you guys probably don't need to hear, but a reminder to everyone, don't do that. Fun fact, you don't have to be a horrible person. Imagine my shock. But yeah, that was annoying. It looks insane. With just the nose off. Oh my god, that looks insane. That's mineral water. Ah, it's in my eyes. Ah, fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna take this makeup off. I'm gonna go wash my face, but let's get off as much as we can. Which is apparently a lot, actually, so that's sick. Yeah, I don't know why people act like that. Like, it's just really rude. You can talk to people and have a genuine conversation, or you can threaten to smash their face in. Which of the two would most people choose, I wonder. Like, there's no need to be a cunt, just have a conversation with people. And talk. Like an adult. Yeah. I'm in my water, I don't think I'm getting much more of this off. I'll be right back. I never was back. I just turned into a turtle and started editing. I've still got the contacts in because I'm going to be filming another video in like 20 minutes. Life of a YouTuber, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love. I'll see you next time. Bye.